Hello, welcome to Reframing Mindset Podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Concept Books. And this episode is gonna be, bruh, you can see the changes in these episodes. We actually bought four books. Four books. So in the past, I was never much of a reader. I was never much of a reader. But um, you left university and then you're trying to find your way. You realize that you have to actually find some answers in books. But one thing was buying books, when you left university and the thing, and you're starting off from nothing. One of the is like, like you can't. The fact that I'm so far away from that situation, which I'm kind of grateful for, but you could not describe how hard it was to actually think about the little money you're getting out in out of university into the real world. Like there's that logical things, like things you'd like. You hear my family and stuff speaking about buy certain stuff. I'll be looking at the money and I'll be like, bro, this can't do it. But you have to actually find a way to get money, and you have to actually be able to upskill yourself. I say to upskill yourself, and then when you have no knowledge of the marketplace and all those stuff, you basically don't know where to start. Don't know where to start. So books are a great way to actually get you somewhere. But what is the thing is you don't have the what if you don't have like the opportunity or the time to actually do that? Maybe you're someone that be like, yo, you don't have that great start that many people had. So what happened was I I did not have that. But what I had was I was just looking for had YouTube. I usually listen to a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of summary of books and all those stuff. And just taking in those knowledges at the time, it never actually was clicking because I was like, or not clicking. It was be like, I'm getting all this knowledge, but I have no money to actually implement them. But I just watch them for motivation, motivational, um, because so what will happen is that I watch the YouTube video, feel very motivated, and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this stuff, and then by the next day, nothing, nothing at all. So it was a really depressing phase because you were so poor that nothing could happen. So you have to fast forward to now, where I could actually get to buy a book due to the fact that I actually got work and got money and stuff like that. So I could actually invest in the books. And the reason why I invest in them now, to actually increase my communication and become more knowledgeable. And plus, these books are a great way to actually start. Actually start because you never know if you want to reach that next level. You have to be able to actually, what I realized is that want to reach that next level, you have to actually do money moves. So move that makes that actually out of your character. You have to do something different. And me buying books is something that I would never do. So that's the reason why I kind of bought the books because I would never do it. So if you actually want a different result, actually buy the books. So the four books, one of the books I actually bought was, it's a big goal, big like bucket list goal. The reason why I bought it was because this was the podcast that actually got me into the podcasting and basically gave me a start, gave me an idea of how how to start. And it was, if you're listening enough, you know about Coach Greg Adams. That's the person that got me into in the podcast and thing. Just give me a nice perspective of life to realize that life starts at at what happened was that basically fresh out of university, I had no clue about how to get rich or reach progress. And be like, oh my god, it's so frustrating at around 21 or such, not figuring out how the hell I'm going to progress. And then I have this podcast to be like, and this podcast, this person is telling me the story to be like, yo, if you're young, just hold it out. Life starts at 40. And it's great to hear that. It's great to hear that. But when you're young, I'll be like, oh my God, it seemed like forever. But fast forward now, and I kind of see that, yes, it's possible if you actually do some steps to actually progress. With compound interest, you can actually reach that nice life by 40 or way before that if you actually put in the work early. And he actually started me on the right progress, get me to think outside the box. I know I have this book, and the thing about having this book was that I'm thinking about having this book and able to read it. Is wanting to listen to this podcast and stuff, but having him reading his book now, you actually get have the time to actually go through the various perspective, and then what happens is that as you progress through life again, you're going to reach some point where the knowledge that he imparted in the book, you're going to be like, okay, this would have actually reached me, but because I read the book, I recognize that, and then avoiding that, I actually propel myself to reach a higher level. So that's one of the thing about reading the book. I don't. One of the thing is you don't buy random books. Like this, is not there was an episode where I kind of recommend a few books that I will read, but this episode not me recommending the books. It's just me. It's just me just saying, okay, I'm able to actually buy the books. Yeah, I couldn't actually do that before, so that's the reason why this episode is important. The fact that I could actually buy the books. That's the goal accomplished. Next book would be about two books. It's like a package deal, two books of from the Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life and Beyond Order. The reason why I bought those books was because that was the next podcast I actually listened to. And, one of the important thing about this book is that if I'm going to reach that next level, like doing the masters and all those stuff, and PhD and all those stuff, I I guess this book is a great practice to actually learn to read because it's kind of really a long book. It's not really long compared to the things that I would have to read, but I have to be able to actually can read a lot of stuff and read it quickly. And reading is not my thing. So the first book by the Coach Greg Allen is pretty small. It's a pretty short book. That is just basically get me into the taste, get me into the habit of reading, and then now the Jordan Peterson book is just basically me going to the next level. So okay, how fast can I actually get through this book and actually intake the knowledge, and so that's how basically I'm approaching the books. The books is just basically me as a way for me to increase my vocabulary, increase the way of me learn how to read, and communicate and all those stuff. So that I guess 2024 is a different me. It's gonna be a very updated me. Yeah. So that's three books. So you have the first book is the Free Agent Lifestyle. You have the next two books by Jordan Peterson, and then the last book is the one I mentioned before by one of my guests, not the Chance Bennett episode. He wrote a book. I went with him, went to high school with him, and I was in the position to buy the book. So I just say, oh, I just bought the book. And based on what I see in the book, it's just basically a poetry like book. So it's it's another way to actually increase. So one of the thing about these books, what I like is that it's out of my normal domain. It's not something related to science or anything like that. It's something completely different. One is about poetry and religion and stuff like that. Two of the other books are mainly about religion and life, and then the last book is about lifestyle, how to get your dream lifestyle. So it's nothing related to that. It's just something to actually think outside the box about life. And that's why you have to read it. That's how I'm basically approaching this thing to me. And then what happens now is that when I read this book now, one of the goal is I become more interested in the social world. I can now in the high places, I could just basically code switch, speak to different higher people about stuff because I'm more knowledgeable. Yeah, so that's basically the goal of these books. Just basically just read them, and so the goal is to actually see if I could actually read at least one, finish reading at least one, and start another one by the end of 2023. So if we can actually finish one before 2023 and then start another one, that would be a big goal. That would be a big goal for me. Yeah, so I guess that's this episode is basically one of those things where the landmark thing that you should be able to do when you make money. Maybe buy a book, could be a Bible. That was one of the book I recommended, Bible. So if you can even buy that or something else, the ability to buy a book, that is a goal that you appreciate in your later years. In your early years, uh, you just want to make money to reach to get your basic thing: food, shelter, clothing, and water. So, but when you actually have your food, shelter, clothing, and water now, then you can actually do some other things that you may want, like a book. So that's the level what I'm at now. Most of my basic needs are kind of met, so I can basically do an investment like a book that basically going to just expand my ability to do my work better and basically just increase my horizon. So that's what you have to really think about it. So that's basically it for this episode, Anders. Thank you for listening. I look forward to the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.